Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm back with another drama-filled video. The messy divorce of Jean and May, exposed by her husband's side woman. And so this is sad. This is really, really sad. This is so messy. I saw this video early in the wee hours of the morning, and I was saying, is this recent? It has to be, because I don't think I've seen this, before. Because usually, like, something that is old, you've seen it and you kind of recognize it, or even if you didn't look at it, you're like, oh, I remember that. It's kind of old. But this is recent. And the reason I'm doing this is really just in sort of my opinion. I've talked about these. Divorces are really messy. They can be messy, and this is one of them. And it's sad what's happening in this. What I've seen is really sad because, excuse me for clearing my throat because I was drinking something. And anyway, and it didn't go down correctly. But I'm going to play a little bit of this clip, I guess. I'm going to play bits and pieces of it. It's so sad what is happening here. And it reminds me of some people I really do know. The only difference with these people, they're not famous. They're not, TV celebrities or anything. And they had a divorce that was similar to this. And it was really sad because I never thought that these people were going to get divorced, because they met in college, and I guess they were, I don't even know if they might have been high school sweethearts, but I know that from what I heard, they met in college and then they married, and the guy wanted to have a baby, but my friend, she didn't want to have a baby because she just didn't want to go through the childbirthing process, and she didn't want to go, she had her reasons, and there might have been some other reasons as well. And she had came into some money. They were doing really well financially, and they actually upgraded. They were living in a condo, and they upgraded from the condo to like a mini mansion. And when they ended up divorcing, it was similar to what happens to this lady here. And so I'm going to play a little bit of the clip, but you can even look at it on your own. You see where it's coming from. It is so sad that people go through this. And this is probably one of the reasons why I don't want to. I know some people are like, well, don't think that that's going to happen to you. It just, I don't even want to go through getting married, because it just seems like it is a lot of drama. It is. It's hard, especially, this woman didn't have kids, but it's still really messy because money is involved in this. And so anyway, without further ado, let me play this clip. It's really messy.
Divorce. If you don't know, Jeannie filed for divorce from her husband last year in October. However, since then, the divorce process has been prolonged, and it has been stressing Jeannie out.
Like, I loved him all the way even past our divorce. I really did. But then when somebody shows you who they are, you just are like, did I know the real you, or is this the real you? And so it's just really hard. We're not talking about a couple years, we're talking about 10 years.
There's also a twist in this story. Jeannie did express that one of the reasons why she split up with Freddie was because she wanted him to move on and have a family, because she did not want to have kids, and he did. As soon as Jeannie filed for a divorce from Freddie, her husband Freddie moved on to another woman named Lindsay. Soon after he started dating Lindsay, he got her pregnant. This happened all within months after Jeannie filed for a divorce. So this had a lot of people speculating whether or not Freddie might have been in a relationship with this woman while he was still with She's revealing the reason why Jeannie and comment on Instagram defending Jeannie, and it said she ain't mad that he moved on and had a kid. That's why they divorced, so he can move on and have the family he wants. She is angry about the way he is going about it. Now he is trying to get money from her to support his new family. Lindsay responded and said she doesn't have money he needs. She wants all the money they acquired together, and his family's money from a prenup she signed. She's fighting a prenup and trying to take what his family owns. Freddie has done nothing but try to move forward and simply ask for his half. He gave her everything and just asked for half of the house. She's a liar and it's gross. You people need to know the truth before you attack the innocent. Lindsay reached out to me and sent me a long email, and most of it was kind of a rant for 8 years, but she was never physically involved with him while he was married. Now she's fed up with Jeannie because she felt that Jeannie she just said she found it kind of odd how Freddie moved on so quickly and had a baby so quickly, but she never said that she was a homewrecker. However, Lindsay has it out for Jeannie. After that interview she did on the Breakfast Club, Lindsay is fed up. And she was going in on Jeannie. She said Jeannie didn't care about anybody but herself and her image. She was forcing Freddie to live a Hollywood lifestyle that contradicted with his traditional upbringing. She said that Jeannie is jealous and so forth and so on. And she also DM'd me and sent even more information. Now, let me just say this. There's 3 sides to every story. In this case, there's 4 sides. There's Jeannie's side, there's Freddie's side, there's Lindsay's side, and then there's the truth, okay? The truth of the matter is Jeannie wants to divorce Freddie, but she wants her coins as well. And Freddie, he's fighting back too because he wants the money he put down into the home that they own together. Also, he wants the home equity. The value of the home that they have together has increased over the years, so he wants money from that too. That is what they're fighting over. And Lindsay did confirm this in a DM that she sent me. She said Freddie wants the $100,000 he put into the house and the equity. He gave her everything else. That's all he's asking. She wants to walk away with everything. She thinks because he has family money that she deserves it all. I have no clue what makes her think that. Freddie has not physically spoke to her since August of 2017. So I don't know where she's getting that he's changed. I think she just thought that he loved her so much that he would back down and give her everything. He's not asking for much. She just doesn't want to give it. This would have been done last November, but she contested their prenup 3 times, and now she's just to damage him. Want to move forward. So this is her last big attempt to get what she wants, using her platform to destroy his character. This is all a now she is threatening that she will tell his family secrets and destroy his reputation and go after that money if he doesn't do what she wants. And in this post, she went on and said how fake Jeannie is. She's good at pretending. She said that she's very calculated and very vindictive, and she's trying to manipulate Freddie and so forth and so on. Now, this is what she is saying. I'm not saying that it's true, but she is saying this. So this is Lindsay's words, okay? I did ask whether or not she was having an affair with Freddie because I did notice that Freddie was liking and commenting some suspect things under their photos, even though he and Jeannie were still together. This is what she said, okay? They had not lived together in a year. She requested a divorce August 11, 2017, and it finally got filed October 23rd by her. They had tried to heal the relationship on a trip to Italy in July, where she stayed on her phone the whole time and did nothing but make Freddie take photos of her years. And I was in shock when I heard that they were getting a divorce. I said, I thought you were really in love. And he said, no, we were just good at faking it. I had to for her career. I went on a hunt in October in the same area as Freddie. That's when I found out. He told no one and he was extremely depressed. When I came out to visit his ranch late November, we started to like one another then, but I didn't officially go out on a date until December. So it's just all BS. She would even say that. Now, there is some discrepancy in what she's saying because she said they did not go out on a date until December, but in the post before that, she said that they didn't start dating until late November. So her dates are conflicting, but you know, she might be telling the truth about not dating Freddie until after Jeannie filed for a divorce. But who knows? She did say this: I gradually fell for him by trying to console him during a hard time. He was devastated and heartbroken. He didn't want to divorce her. He loved her. He was forced to move on, and I just happened to be there. I personally witnessed him distraught while she was posting her man crush and strip dancing on social media. She also revealed something else, too. She said there was an uncomfortable sex life between them. There was a series of unflattering, robotic steps she required him to go through to keep from getting pregnant. It became an issue for them both. They had different political views, and she was attacking him with her delivery, making him feel like he couldn't differ from her. She changed her fate and took bits and pieces of the Bible that she wanted to abide by, forming her own religion around the lifestyle that she wanted instead of the foundation. Now, let me just say this. I don't judge anybody's walk with God. I do believe that Jeannie is a Christian, probably not perfect, but she is a Christian. And she has different political views from Freddie because Freddie is a Trump supporter. So I don't blame Jeannie for not agreeing with Freddie, okay? And I don't care for how Lindsay is dragging Jeannie so much because Jeannie never said anything bad about her. But she did spill more tea. She said she constantly brings up their prenup throughout the whole marriage, making it uncomfortable for Freddie and his family. She didn't want to spend holidays together. She became very involved in her following and obsessed over people liking her. She changed a lot about herself to accommodate the masses, which was difficult for Freddie to adjust to. There was much more.
Hey there, it's Kate from Six Pack App.
Okay, so that's a bit much, but anyway, that's pretty much the video. We'll leave it on this lady. Anyway, let me see if I can go back to another still image of this video, because I saw this and I was like, oh my God, this is so sad that this is happening. So anyway, I'm trying to skip back, and so I'm gonna just stop it right here because that was pretty lengthy. But I saw this early in the morning, and I was like, wow, that is so sad that that is happening. And it's not like it hasn't happened to other people, but what I'm saying is it just seems so messy. And the reason I'm doing this one is because I've mentioned, you know, issues with relationships and divorces and things. And I feel like it's harder to explain it and have people to understand unless they actually see somebody going through something really messy. And this would be the perfect example of that. And like I was saying, I actually had a friend who she, to go on with that story that's similar to this story, believe it or not, her husband, he was upset because she didn't want to have kids. And so what he did was, you know how you think if the person you're with is cheating, they're cheating with somebody way far away or something? No, they weren't cheating with someone way far away. They were cheating with a coworker. Somebody that he worked with, he actually was cheating with. And on top of that, not only cheating, he got them pregnant. And so that's what brought on the divorce. It was crazy, and it was really messy, and it was drama filled. And you know what makes it worse? To this day, I cannot understand why this friend of mine, she decided to work at the same job where her husband who cheated on her with the coworker is still working there that had gotten pregnant, and she now works there. It's like walking on eggshells. How do you work in a place where your husband that cheated on you with the woman that had the baby is working there, and he's working there, and you work there? That's what's happening. And she kept calling another friend of mine who we all work together. And so he would tell me how she would say, oh, could you just talk to him, and could you explain to him how much I love him and I want to be back with him? And she just couldn't let it go. She just couldn't understand that this guy, he decided to make his decision, and he cheated on you with the coworker, and they're all working there, and you get a job there, and he's not going to go back to you. It's over. It's done. And what makes it really sad is before this whole mess had happened with them, they had adopted a child together. That is what was so sad. And this child, when they divorced, she decided to take on the full custody and responsibility of this adopted child. And so this child now is probably, I think she's thinking about going to college and whatnot. But it's so sad. I know these, even to this day, I still know these people, all of them, except the one woman that he cheated with. All of them, we work together. We've known each other for like 10 plus years. And so I would have never thought it was that drama filled, but it was similar to this messy divorce that Annie Mae is having. Only thing, they're not famous. And I just can't understand why all of it went down like it did. And what makes me baffled is that she would want to work at the same workplace around all of this. The woman who is now had the baby, a real baby, and that's what the fight was over, because he wanted her to have kids, and she said she wasn't ready to have kids. And she said maybe later, and she was afraid of childbirthing. And so they had adopted a child together. And then he went and cheated with the coworker and got her pregnant with a real baby, so it just was crazy. And then, you're thinking, okay, I don't want to see these people. I don't want to be around these people. You think that she would think that. But no, she's working at the job around all of this. How does one do that? Anyway, I couldn't understand it no more than anybody else could. But these divorces can be really seriously heavy duty and nasty. And when they adopted this child, she had came into a lot of money. They ended up with a mansion. And then once they divorced, they sold that mansion place. And so what she did with the money, I don't know. She was probably saving whatever, and she moved down to something, more, modest. But it was really messy, that divorce. It was depressing. It was messy. She was calling another friend of mine, trying to beg this friend to talk to him, to get him to come back to her. It was crazy. And it's very similar to what this woman and these people are going through here. The only deal is that they're fighting over it. And then they're fighting over money, and they're famous. And I don't think people realize, when kids are involved, when money is involved, the hurt feelings, and how you feel when the other woman comes in and she had the baby that you wouldn't have, how nasty it feels, and you're exposed, you're all over, everybody sees all of your dirty laundry being aired. And so this is the kind of stuff that happens with some of these divorces. They can get really nasty. Even in-laws can get involved in it. And it can get really nasty. And so this is what happened. And so I don't know how this thing is going to turn out, but you just, it makes you not really want to get married when you see this, what's all involved. It makes you say, is there another way around this where it doesn't have to be nasty like this? Because you notice they mentioned prenup and all of this. And, some people, I remember when they first thought of that concept or first started talking about that, who's making the decision on who's going to get what, or what's yours is yours and what's mine is mine, or what's yours and mine we're sharing together and all this. And so some people don't realize that even with that, some people will lie in these marriages, and they'll hide, and they'll have an account. They'll hide from you. They'll have money stashed away somewhere, or they'll have like a side fling, or they might be real promiscuous. They might be cheating with someone in your family. There's a whole lot of stuff that could happen with these relationships, and people think, oh, he's married or she's married to me, nothing bad's gonna happen, and all of this. And then, with that celebrity lifestyle, there's an image that you have to uphold. And so some people are really into that, and they don't want to ruin their career. They want to wait later in life to have children, because they know that's going to alter their appearance somewhat. They're going to have to, change. It changes your lifestyle when you have children. And so it also changes a woman's body. And so those are things that, men probably don't think about, but women do. And they feel pressure, especially if you're famous and what have you, unless you're a woman that feels like, oh, I'm ready to be a mother and I want to, have kids or whatever. But apparently her image was really important to her. And so this can get pretty messy. And I just thought it was really sad. I was looking at it early in the wee hours. And the first thing that popped into my mind was these friends that I knew that actually had something very similar, close to this, that happened to them. And, why I'm doing this is because sometimes I feel like people think that when they get married, that these things will never happen to them, that everything is perfect. They'll never have, any problems, that it could never happen to them. And sometimes people refuse to believe that it could happen to them. They think that once they're married and they have that piece of paper, it's like set in stone, that person will never think to leave them or go out on them. They even think having a kid is going to lock that person or keep that person with them. But I've seen where people have lots of kids and they still get a divorce. I've seen where they don't have kids and they get a divorce. I've seen where people do cheat on people. They're cheating with people before they even get married. And then they get married and they're still cheating. And so you never know what you're going to get yourself into. And so I don't think people realize the seriousness of it. And so that's why I think I've chosen, from a lot of the things I've seen people go through, to not really get involved in it anymore. And yes, I was married once. I divorced. I didn't want to be married because I had went through some situations that were similar. Well, not like this, but I felt like I was the one that was more serious and I was more in love than that person. That's why I could tell you about Khloe Kardashian and what she's going through with Tristan Thompson. That, some women, they feel like they're doing all the work in terms of being more in love, and the guy is the one that he's not ready to be serious. He's not ready to settle down. You have the children, and you have to make a decision what kind of parent you want to be with these kids, and you can't fall apart. And so you want to be the level-headed one, so you keep giving them chances, and then when you know those chances have run out, you get exhausted, and then finally you just throw in the towel. And so I think that's what has happened. This one is pretty messy, though. It seems like it's centered around a lot of money issues and popularity. and maybe some other things in there that we are not aware of. But I guess this is also a developing story, so we'll see what happens with the outcome of this. It's really sad, but it, like I said, you're going to see, I don't think this is the last one. You're going to see more divorces that are going to be really messy, and some that are going to be discreet where they don't want you to know their mess, but there's a mess behind it and they try to sweep it under the rug, and they make these you know, terms up to make it seem like, oh, we went our separate ways, we've evolved, evolution. We heard that one before from the last divorce that we've seen, with the news anchor guy, and so I think there's going to be a lot more of these divorces because, it isn't not easy to be in, a relationship with people, especially if when you establish knowing each other and okay, now we've grown together, we've learned each other, and I've learned that I have different political views than you do. I have a different ideology of religion or spirituality than you do. And that, I believe, is what ends up determining whether people remain together and then what their behaviors are. If you're with someone and they want to have children, you don't, then that might be grounds for divorce. Or you could be with someone and they want you to, be a certain way with them intimately, and you don't want that. You learn that you have a lot more that is not common, a lot of more differences. And then if you're with someone who they're just not, they were never really meant to be in a marriage, they needed to be single, and they're always promiscuous and they're always looking around their shoulder at other people and they're sleeping around with different individuals, it potentially puts you at risk for something that you don't want. And so I believe that's the reason why a lot of these marriages end in divorce, and then money and in-laws can play a part in it. And so sometimes the person you thought you always knew, you'd be surprised you could be with a person for a long time and not really know who they really are until you start learning that you have more not in common than in common. Well, with that being said, I'm going to let this video go, but we'll see what happens with this. It is really messy. And what is crazy is when these people see these blogs or these videos, they get upset because they want to explain themselves. And that's what they did here to this blogger that's really popular. I've listened to her quite a bit, the Impressive channel. I just feel like it, that these things are going to happen a lot more, because, people are realizing now too, that they do have differences of views, real hardcore differences of views. And so politics does play a part in it as well. And so, like this lady said, that the husband is a Trump supporter, but the other lady, she's not. And so that can also be grounds for divorce, believe it or not. The way men look at things and the way women will look at things, if they don't agree politically on, or, have the same mindsets and some real traditional or foundational issues, if that person doesn't feel spirituality is real and you do, that could be the indicator why you're going to get divorced. If that person feels like their religion is real and maybe you're not a religious person, that may be grounds for divorce for some people because you have such different views. If that person is a fan of Donald Trump and stands behind him 100% on all of his political stances, and you have disagreement and you don't agree with it, that could be grounds for divorce, believe it or not. I have seen people do that. Say, I thought I knew this person until all of this stuff happened. We don't see eye to eye. And so, like I said, sometimes it isn't cheating. Sometimes it's in-laws. Your in-laws can make your relationships miserable. And if they're always in your business, they're always trying to, tell you what to do, and they can make your life miserable. And you figure, if I divorce this person, then I'm divorced away from that family, and I don't have to deal with those in-laws. And so that could be grounds for divorce. So with that being said, I'm going to let this video go. It's long, but I guess we'll wait and see what happens. It just really, it's sad and it's messy, but I don't think people realize. And, I work with somebody, she says all this great stuff. She's young. She got a marriage. She got married recently, and she talks about her ring, and she's so excited and so happy, and she has a baby and all of this. And I'm thinking, well, that's great, and that's good. But sometimes, a lot of times, I think people, when they go into these relationships, they go in wet behind the ears on issues, and they don't realize that, in the beginning, you think you know everything about this person, but you really don't. You really don't. And we shall see what happens with this. Thanks for listening.